There's this show called Surrounded where you can go and you can choose the premise that you want to debate, and they will surround you with critics who get to like sit in the chair and debate you on various points. They asked me to go on there. I said no, because to be honest, like I'm just too open-minded. That's genuinely how I am. If somebody gives me like a good idea that I think is, I'll be like, that's a great point. Yes, maybe I was wrong. Like, it's not my thing to just like hold on to my positions and fire blast anybody who feels differently. In any event, they brought on this woman, Amanda Seales. This is a woman who is extremely woke. She's got her master's degree from Columbia. She's an actress, comedian. She had shows on Nickelodeon, MTV2, HBO. She had her own stand-up comedy special on HBO. And she is very woke. And all you need to do is take a listen to her to figure that out. So the topic for the first part of the show was, it is undeniable, this is her position, that reparations are just and necessary. Did I mention she's a black woman? She's a black woman. And everyone in the audience, I believe, are black conservatives. So it was a thing of beauty because woman after man after woman sat down across from this woman, Amanda Seales, and unleashed cans of reality on her. And she did not know what hit her, because liberals never debate outside of their circles. Like they never have their ideas challenged. And yet this woman did. To her credit, she went on the show, and here's a sampling of how that went. South 34.
You can give everyone here like a $50,000 check, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently, a $50,000 check. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now.
Oh my God.
Okay, so on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism, and we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off.
Okay, she's just living up to so many tropes there, like laughing at him like she's blowing him off like he's a laughable character. You're scary. Like you're so misinformed. Everything he said was right. But you're so misinformed, you're scary. You need to think of me like your mama. And like the respect I command is basically what she was saying. And then we are a systemically racist country because we have been from the beginning. We haven't been equals from the onset. Okay, so we're not equals today. And a lot of the black conservatives there were like, you know, we have a black president. So another guy goes, we had a black vice president. I think she was black. Anyway, but these guys, these young people, guys and gals, Walter, were not having it.
Can you imagine if I said to someone who was arguing with me, you got to treat me like like I'm your daddy? What? I mean, she lost it right there. And also, it's not a debate if you hold that your side is self-evident, that it can't even be argued. How dare you dispute me? How dare you have another point of view? That kid was impressive. I feel like every day of my life is Surrounded, frankly. You know, I don't go on shows like Surrounded because if I go on Bill Maher, it's like being on Surrounded.
It's
if
true.
I walk out to the Starbucks, it's like being on Surrounded. But it's guys like that who have thought through their positions, who are taking endless hell because they are black and a conservative, who have to work out their debating points to a level that almost no one else has to. And my hat is off. And my hat is off to him, because even though he was in the more aggressive mode because of the layout of that show, he spends most of his day surrounded.
Yes. All right. Here's another one. This is SOT 37. Watch this. I think this is a different young man. Can't remember. Watch.
The black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit.
It's
not gonna work. No, a debate has to be in facts.
You're putting off emotional liberalism right now.
I am not putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off unfounded lies
That's what y'all
based
do.
in
Y'all start saying
conservatism.
Misinformation. Remember they did the misinformation thing on, by
I don't know if I'm gonna last.
We're selling our own people today,
I don't know if I'm gonna last.
You probably won't last with me.
I won't, because your ignorance is so overwhelming.
See, that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all getting defeated in an argument.
Calling. You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
So interesting. Now he was going to the place you are not allowed to go, saying there's something in black culture that's toxic, that's leading to bad results, and we have to get honest about it. It has to do with fathers not being in the home. And I can't remember if it was this gentleman, because I watched most of it, or another one who was raising, like, what happened with Asians. They were immigrants too, but they have a different approach toward education and, work ethic, and they've done very well in this country that they've adopted. And she was like, you cannot compare the Asians to the blacks who were slaves, and basically kind of acknowledging with a wink and a nod, somehow they're under some challenge that nobody else is under, from which they cannot escape. That's what she would argue. And those around her were saying, yes, we absolutely can. But once again, you're making up shit. And he was ready for it, right? You're basically an emotional liberal, bringing up emotional liberalism as a defense. And all she could do was just say, wrong, unfounded.
Yeah, whatever false sense of confidence caused her to go on surrounded was completely exposed there. I mean, she has nothing as a debater. She has nothing as a proponent of her side. And it's good to see the Maoism turned on its head and the struggle sessions go the other way every once in a while.
It was amazing. These kids were citing Thomas Sowell and so many others who, like, finally their ideas are getting heard, and that's all that's required. You listen to Thomas Sowell, you believe in Thomas Sowell. You listen to Shelby Steele, you believe in him. And it's happening. I was really encourage everybody to go and watch the whole thing. So what do we think the effect of the sparring between President Donald Trump and the Fed is going to be? Can the Fed take the right action at the right time? Do we trust in that? Or are we going to be looking at a potential economic slowdown as they slow roll any of their moves as they worry about his tariffs? And what exactly does all of this mean for your savings? You might want to consider diversifying right about now with gold through Birch Gold Group. For decades, gold has been viewed as a safe haven in times of economic stagnation, global uncertainty, and high inflation. And Birch Gold makes it incredibly easy for you to diversify some of your savings into gold. If you have an IRA or old 401k, you can convert that into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or just buy some gold to keep it in your safe. First, get educated. Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. Just text MK to the number 989898. Again, text MK to 989898, and you'll start the process of just getting the 411 on what it means to own gold. Consider diversifying a portion of your savings into gold. So if the Fed cannot stay ahead of the curve for the country, at least you can stay ahead of the curve for yourself. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.